Hello, it's nice to see you again. This is Lydiah Baynham, your certified family and life coach, and today we are going to talk about setting boundaries and disciplining your teenagers. Now, before we get to that topic, it's important that you remember that a key aspect of improving your teenagers' behavior is by ensuring that one, you're creating a home or a learning environment that is safe, that they feel loved and cared for, and where they're valued. Also, it's very important that you go back and revisit some of the other topics, especially regarding love languages, which I have already put on this platform, because children who feel loved, children who feel cared for and appreciated and acknowledged tend to have better behavior and don't act out as much. Now, you find that there's 4 categories of parenting styles when it comes to disciplining your children, whether young children or teenagers. And the first category can be described as the parents who are authoritarian parents. That is parents who are very firm, they set a lot of rules and standards, but don't know how to show or express love and affection to their children. I think you'll find, especially in the African culture, parents have tended to be authoritarian, where you're very strict and you cause your children to respect you not out of love but out of fear. They do it because they are afraid of what you will do to them. And often this kind of authoritarian parenting can result in teenagers becoming rebellious or having antisocial behavior because they haven't learned how to express themselves well in the home context. Now, the flip side of that is indulgent parents. Those are parents who really love their children and who really spoil them, but don't set any rules or boundaries. And often you find, again, especially modern parents who are busy, traveling, working long hours, maybe because you have some guilt, some mom or dad guilt, you can end up becoming an indulgent parent who tends to just shower your children with love and affection and gifts and never really discipline them. And often you find that those children end up becoming self-centered, maybe even disrespectful. They don't have an understanding of boundaries. They don't have an understanding of responsibility and how to look after themselves. Maybe you find that you're relying on your nanny or your housekeeper or your driver to do everything for your children. Or even maybe you're always with your children, but you're always on your phone. And I would describe that as there's elements of your parenting that is indulgent parenting, where you just let them do what they want to do. And then the other third category of parenting style when it comes to behavior management is called negligent parenting. And negligent parenting is where, similar to what I've just described, but a higher version of it, is where you might be in the same room with your children, but you never talk to them. You never really know what's going on in their lives. They watch whatever they want to watch. They do what they want to do. They go out whenever they like. And even in the playground, you see parents on their phone, and their child is having an argument or a disagreement with another child, and you have no idea what's going on. And again, this can happen easily for parents who are busy or who just have a lot of demands and pressure on their lives. So you find that you're not really showing the right amount of love or affection to your children, but at the same time, you're also not engaged in their disciplining or in encouraging good behavior in them. And then the fourth and last category of parenting style when it comes to behavior management, I call it nurturing parenting. And this is where you have a beautiful balance of how you show love, warmth and affection to your children, where they know they're really loved and valued, but at the same time you have set clear boundaries and rules. They know the consequences of every action that they make, and you are secure and you are trustworthy in that you follow through with what you say will happen when they make mistakes or when they get things right. Now, I'm encouraging every person who is viewing this to aim to have the right balance of warmth and love, but at the same time set the right boundaries for your children. I am going to give you 6 tips that can help you develop a better relationship when it comes to disciplining and setting boundaries for your children, and especially in this really a central stage of their life where they're moving from being young children to young adults. Now, tip number one, remember that you are on the same team. You and your teenagers, whether you're the parent or their teacher, you are on the same team as opposed to opposing teams. You want the same thing in regards to them becoming more responsible and learning how to be respectful and how to make good life choices. So please remember that you are on the same team. You want to move from them having external boundaries where it is you or other adults that determine the rules and the decisions they make, and you want them to have their own internal boundaries. That is, you want them to get to a place where they understand what is right, what is wrong, and when faced with a situation, their own internal system will be telling them, or they will be hearing your voice in their head saying, this is good, this is bad for these various reasons. Tip number 3, set few but very clear rules and make sure that you follow through. Don't fight about everything. There's some things in your teenager's life, like maybe their hairstyle, that isn't going to destroy their life. So try and choose. If it's issues to do with drugs or alcohol or substance abuse, that's really important. So set rules on that and be really clear and set the consequences and explain that A leads to B and C leads to D. Stick with few but clear rules. Tip number 4, please allow both yourself and your teenager some room for error. That is, there will be mistakes made on your part and their part, because this is a learning experience for everybody. And it's so important that your home or your school has an environment where people can make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, rather than a record of all their wrongs that they can never recover from. So please make sure that tip number 4 is in your toolkit as a parent or as a teacher. Allow room for mistakes and allow yourself and your children to learn from those mistakes. Tip number 5, please don't nag your teenagers. Nagging is like a raindrop on the roof of a house that just never goes away. And those children, you push them away and they will withdraw and not really hear what you're saying. So be clear, have consequences, follow through, but don't nag. And the final tip I'll give you today is negotiate. Negotiation skills are essential in the world that we live in now. The ability to present one's case or ideas and hear the other one respectfully and then find a middle ground. So for example, if you have a teenager that really likes, I don't know, playing football or rugby, and they normally go on a Saturday afternoon, you might negotiate with them and say, on Saturdays, I'm happy for you to go and play rugby, but you can only go after you finish your homework. So you have the whole of Saturday morning to make sure it's done. And if you're late, then you will be late to your rugby. And by doing that, you have presented them with the option of we can negotiate when the homework gets done, but ultimately the consequence is that if you do it on time, you can go to rugby. Now they might try and negotiate with you and say, oh, can I not do it on a Sunday afternoon? And again, you might say that's fine. However, you will not be able to have your iPad or your Game Boy that Sunday afternoon until the homework is done. So you're allowing for an ability to negotiate. And I promise you, when they go into the working world, the ability to negotiate with colleagues, with their boss, even within their own family relationships with their spouse, it will go a long way in enabling them to be individuals who are responsible, who are confident, and who are able to think of others whenever they're making decisions. So I've included some quizzes and questions regarding how you can improve how you do behavior management for your teenagers. Remember, it's really important. Don't fight with them about everything. Pick your battles. Set few but clear rules. Keep showing them that you love and care for them, because at the end of the day, they need to trust your heart. They need to trust that you mean well and you want well for them. I look forward to seeing you at the live session soon. Thank you.